Daily Dysfunction is now back, and it's time for Question of the Day.
When was your world turned upside down? 253-833-5004 or text us 253-293-5069. I know my world was turned upside down personally as soon as I got out of high school. Like, as soon as it was done, I'm like, okay, time for the real world. I'm going to get a real job. I'm going to go to college.
And then you went to Green River and realized it was high school, too.
No. I went to Pierce and realized it was high school, too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I went to Pierce first. I did get that job, though. Well, kind of. It was a warehouse job.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a cool job.
Which warehouse are you at liberty to say?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was REI.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that you and Dee both started at REI.
Yeah, I mean, like, they great people. They're
good place.
Really nice. Yeah, I mean,
I've heard some horror stories from not so fancy warehouse jobs.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe more like not.
Because there's some slave labor that goes out. There's places that pack up like costumes for Halloween. They're only pretty much in business during holiday seasons, and they hire on a bunch of people and work them like 16 hours to like 18 hours a day, and just wear them out to the point where they're working over like 30 hours of overtime a week. Dang. Working like 16 to 18 hour days, and just once they get off, they just pass out for 2 days, and then they're back on the job pretty much, and they just work them to death for that holiday season. I mean, it's a ton of money.
I bet
you're only making like minimum wage, but with that much overtime, it doesn't even matter because
it adds up.
It adds up.
Yeah. My warehouse job, I probably would still be there today, except so the first quarter I went to Pierce, I signed up late, so I only had one class, and it was in the morning, and it was a weights class. So I would go there 2 times a week or 3 times a week in the morning, do that, and then go directly to work. And I would work for 8 hours or whatever in a warehouse, just picking product, shipping it off. And it wasn't until the next quarter when I actually signed up for classes. I had a class in the morning and class at night, but the night class was only twice a week. So I was like, okay, my job should be able to work with me. They said that they could work with me for my schedule, and they said no. I was hired on for seasonal help anyway, so they were just like, all right, well, we'd rather you do school than work here. Go to school. I was like, oh, all right.
You're like, well, that was nice of you.
Yeah.
And that's the real world.
Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm. That's really how I did find out, because I've done seasonal jobs. I was at a lifeguard, so obviously for the summer. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, but they gave me that chance of, this can be more than a seasonal job. And I was really disappointed when it wasn't.
I hate when that hope's taken away from you.
Yeah.
I work a seasonal job also. It's a summer job, but our boss is very lenient with that kind of stuff. He's very strict on like time, like showing up on time, things like that. But if we need to do stuff for school, he will let us take off like a day or 2 days to go take care of that business, which is pretty cool because the job is actually very nice. I've worked it since I was 16, I think. So like 30 years now.
Yeah.
No, it's
old.
Been like,
Old man.
Oh,
it's been like 6 years now, which is
still kind of
that's kind of a long time for the
know.
job that you work, because it's hard menial labor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky because I work it during the summer and then I get off and get to take a break. I feel bad for people to do that kind of job year round.
Yeah, I mean, especially because you do it in the summer where it's like hot. I can't imagine what that job will be like when it's like raining and cold.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Doing the job where we were up to like our waist and just water.
Yeah,
like
like
that freezing cold
in
water.
ditches
Oh my
and stuff,
God,
and
dude.
it's gross. Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like if it's pouring down rain and freezing.
Because during that job, there's some times where we do have to jump into water like that where it's up to our pretty much chest in cold water. And I'm talking about it is 80, 90, 95 degrees out, and it's been beating down on this water all day, and it's still freezing cold. You get in there and your boys jump up in your stomach.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine what it's like when
an overcast, rainy
rainy, or even like snowing day.
They're going to be up in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question of the day. When was your world turned upside down? 253-833-5004 is that number to call, or text us 253-293-5069.
I think I know the exact point because I don't like heights myself.
Yeah, you hate them, right?
Yeah, I hate them. Like, I'm not fearful of many things. heights.
You're a man of great courage, Gabe. I will give you that. You are a man of great courage when it comes to many a thing. But if somebody goes, hey, do you want to do blank? You'll be like, I'll try.
Yeah,
but when it comes to heights, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, like hey man, because I don't know what it is, but I get up there and I'm pretty good at balance. I'm not the best. I'm not a gymnast or whatever, but as soon as I get up to a high place, my legs just don't work. I can't do it, and I think I know at this point when it all began, because back in when I went to daycare. Because my parents would drop me off at a daycare place. They'd take me care until I went to school, came back there, blah, blah, blah. That's how daycare works.
Thank you.
This one time, though, my mom came up and dropped me off at the place. And there's this table in which you signed up your kid at to say, hey, he came in. Then there were stairs, like 3 stairs up to the dining room. And then there was like 12 stairs down until the play area. And I remember standing by my mom, and I was talking with her, and I just kind of was putting up my coat on the little coat rack, and then I took one extra step back than I normally would.
Oh yeah,
and the floor wasn't there.
Yeah,
and I just start falling, and I go, oh, I'm gonna catch myself, and then this terrifying feeling of nothing being there and me being completely
in the middle of the air,
horizontal, just like.
There's nothing. I mean, there's a reason that one of the few feelings that can wake you up from like your deepest sleep is falling.
Yeah.
There's a reason that is because it's not a natural feeling for human beings.
And I hit the stairs and I start tumbling down. And at the bottom of it, there was younger kids there too, that might wander up the stairs and do just what I was doing. And so there's a little gate there. And so I fall down, I hit the stairs, I start tumbling over, and then I ended up stopping like completely upside down on my head, stuck up against that gate. My coat was like, because it was one of those interlocking ones, almost like, those cartoon punching glove things where they squeeze them together and the glove pops out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where it's like it's like the gun thing, and it's like a spring-loaded punch.
It's made of wood.
Yeah, it's made of wood. It's like those things. And so like my coat got tangled up in that. So I'm just stuck on my head, upside down, and just terrified.
The same thing happened to me when I was in daycare, actually. How old were you when that happened?
Oh God, I don't know.
Not even elementary school, right?
Yeah.
I was like 3. and so I at that point I remember going around telling people I was 3 years old, because I remember how I used to hold it up. I used to make
were you like, I'm tree.
Yeah, exactly. But I used to make the I love you sign because it's 3 fingers.
Yeah.
And that's how I would do it. But like
I love you sign?
So
yeah,
the
dude, like
with your pinky, your pointer, and your thumb up.
I forgot
I thought that was the devil horns.
No, that's with your thumb down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rock and roll.
So I used to say that. So I know I could talk at the time. But I'm at the top of the stairs, and at the daycare I was at, it had 2 flights of stairs. It was, you went down one, there was a landing for the front door, and then there was another one that went the opposite direction and went down to the basement. Well, I'm up there. I'm up on the top floor, and I fell down the first one. I did this like the same thing. You take a step back where you're not supposed to, and you end up flying down the stairs. But I hit the front door, bounced off of it, and went down the second flight.
Oh, jeez.
See,
I think there's a reason I am the way that I am. I may have hit my head a couple of times on the way down.
I've never fallen down the stairs I can think of that drastically bad like you two.
Oh, I've done it twice down the same set of stairs.
See, I've fallen upstairs. And
how do you fall up?
Well,
Walking
very
fast?
slowly,
quote unquote, like upstairs.
You just tripped while you're walking?
Yeah, I have this big scar on my eye, like on the side of my eye that's really deep. And when I was like a baby, I don't even remember it. We'd have these brick steps in the front of the house, and like it'd be like, it wasn't like a pop 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 kind of step like normal stairs is. This is like there's a step. You take 2 steps. There's another step. Like one of those prolonged.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate those stairs.
Yeah. So I was learning how to walk and run, and I guess I would just run, and I tripped on that step and went flying and went face first into the brick step, gouged open my eye. My parents freaked out because I'm their first child. They'd never seen anything like this before. So
most of the stuff that I did was like I just like had bad cuts. Like I did something similar. We had a concrete like seating area around a fireplace, and I was bouncing on my trampoline when I was a kid, and I went to jump over it to go to school, and I just missed the step, and I scratched my shin up.
Yeah,
I did that a lot.
I've only gotten one bad scar on my knee, but the only thing I've done to my head, luckily I've kept my face pristine, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it didn't need to be messed up anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Sorry.
I've hit my head very hard, but I've never cut myself. It was that same daycare. My brother.
That place was a hazard for you.
I guess so.
Maybe there's a reason it's not there anymore.
Maybe that's the reason your parents kept taking you.
They were like, one day. Yeah. They were just waiting.
But me and my brother were with my dad. He was dropping us off, and we decided to race. And this is in Tacoma, right by 6th Avenue. This is where Hell's Kitchen used to be. Jazz Bones is right there.
Yeah.
And if you know that area, the streets. They come in little squares, pretty much. The concrete comes in squares, and sometimes trees will grow up through them and push those squares into not good for walking positions. So there's little lips that you can trip on if you're walking.
Uh-huh.
And I was racing my brother, and we were running up to the front door, and we kind of bump each other because we're going to win, right?
Yeah.
Competition. And he bumps me, and my foot hits that little lip at the same exact time. And so I'm full sprint. Obviously, I was 6
You were
or
going
7.
a whopping 2 miles an hour.
I was 6 or 7, so I wasn't going too fast, but I was going at my top speed at that time. And I fly headfirst into the brick wall that was right next to the door.
Ow.
And just smash my head. And my dad is like, "Oh, S," and starts running up.
My kid is dead.
And then your dad does it too? It's just body upon body.
And then he pats you and then he goes, like father, like son.
And he grabs me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm staring at him in the eyes, completely fine. And then my head clicks. I go,
Yeah.
I start bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
Kids are always fine until you say something like, "Oh man, that must have really hurt." Like, you're right, it totally did.
It's
Yeah.
not until you think about it that something hurts.
Yeah, and
You could cut off a finger and you wouldn't realize it until you look at it.
yeah, and so I feel my head, and I have this bump on my head that it felt huge-normous at that time.
Hugh
And
Normus is like an 80s action hero.
Yeah, and I started just throwing up profusely. I got a
'cause
massive
a
concussion.
Yeah.
And I just started puking everywhere. They had to call the ambulance, and I just kept. It was
Ambulance.
whoa,
Ambulance.
and it was terrible. I had to go to the doctor. They had to check me out, and I just kept throwing. It was bad news.
Yeah, that's no good. When you hit your head, it's never good.
That's pretty bad.
Question of the day: when was your world turned upside down? 253-833-5004.
Oh, hey. I went to the fair this weekend. I'm really good at this. I went to the fair this weekend. I'm afraid of heights also, but I'm also afraid of actually physically being flipped upside down. And I went on the inverter, which it flips you upside down. It's really
Is
high.
that slingshot one?
No, it's green and purple, and it's just a bunch of rows, and you're sitting.
It looks like a pill shape.
A what?
Is it like a pill shape that spins in a circle while you spin that one?
No, it's just,
That's the zipper.
it looks like it should be a boat, but it's not a boat.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it just
yeah.
you go up, you go around a few
Oh.
times, and then you go around again, and then it flips you over at the very top,
Okay.
and then it lets you sit there, and you're just sitting upside down for
Yep.
what feels like at least 2 minutes, but it's probably only like 5 seconds, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
go back down. I did that after I had a few beers at the Sweet Beer Garden at the Puyallup Fair. It was really
jeez.
Oh yeah.
cool. Oh man.
What if you timed it right when you're about to move, you
Oh.
throw up and it scoops down, it just rains on everyone.
Stop. That's so gross. Oh, that'd be terrible.
See, I don't mind rides like that. Like I really being upside down stuff doesn't really bother me. I prefer roller coasters that have the whole loop-de-loops and stuff like that. My little brother tried to be a tough guy and do that Ring of Fire. You know, the ones that just a big circle.
Burning
You
It
know,
just
up,
Ring
up,
of
up, up.
Fire.
Yeah.
The Johnny Cash
Well,
song.
see, I've never been on that ride because it looked boring to me.
Yeah.
Because it was just like no
You're
point.
just going in a circle.
Well, I didn't realize you get inside the cage. There's no seatbelts. It's just like you are just
You're
sitting
holding
down.
yourself you're in a cage.
You're in a
though.
cage. Yeah,
But still.
exactly. But yeah, like it's small enough to where you're just sitting there. And see, my little brother was just big enough to ride the ride, and he was like 8 or something. So he was still a little kid. He's like, "Yeah, let's do this." We get going, and he can't support himself just sitting down. So I'm grabbing onto him with one hand, having my hand up on the top of the cage on the other hand. As we're going around, he's screaming like a little girl and crying. Get off. I'm like, you know what? That ride is more interesting than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, it doesn't look that.
It really doesn't.